Alright, I've been putting off recording this video for like way too long at this point. It's time I finally talk about these right here, my all new Kawazu full body trackers. I made a TikTok about SlimeVR trackers. That shouldn't have opened. Before we can actually talk about these, we need to go back to SlimeVR full body trackers. I made a TikTok about them a few months ago at this point. So I'll just go over a quick summary of what those are first. Okay, so for the longest time with full body tracking in VR, there was really only one way to do it, and that was with Vive trackers. They were these little puck-like things. You put one on each foot and then one on your hip, and it would allow you to move your feet and your hip in VR. And they were tracked using Valve's Lighthouse technology, which is what they used for like pretty much every VR headset before Oculus came along and went with inside-out tracking for the Rift S and Quest. I think those were the first headsets to do it. I don't really know. And while this provided really accurate, really low latency tracking of your body parts, it also made it extremely expensive to get. Just looking this up quickly, if you wanted to get full body tracking as of now with Vive trackers, if you wanted 3.0 Vive trackers, that's $150 each. That's already $450. And if you don't have base stations, because you're using something like, I have a PSVR 2, if you have a Quest, if you have pretty much any modern headset that's not like really high end, that doesn't use lighthouses, to get the recommended amount of two, that's an extra $200, because it's $100 for each base station. And this isn't even for Valve's 2.0 base stations. This is for Vive's original 1.0 base station. That's not too much worse, but still, you would rather have Valve's, but they don't really make them anymore. So that's what 200 plus 450. That's $650 just for full body tracking. That's a lot to spend for something that's really only usable in like 3 games. This is where SlimeVR came along, and they looked at the full body tracking scene and were like, how can we get this to be cheaper for people to use while still being some pretty quality tracking? This is one of my original DIY SlimeVR trackers, just so I can visualize something for you. They came up with their IMU tracking design, which essentially takes this small IMU chip. You can see it's that white piece right in there for at least DIY builds. It uses that to get the acceleration and rotation of each tracker. Then you have the SlimeVR server running on your computer, which takes all those values over Wi-Fi for original trackers, and we'll get to the newer ones in a minute, but takes all those values and estimates a position for them in space relative to your body parts in VR. Since all of these parts that are made in a SlimeVR tracker, which is pretty much just a microcontroller that has Wi-Fi, an IMU, and a battery, it makes it really cheap to make these, and that allowed them to make their lower body set $220 right now. I want to say it was less than 200 before. I know they had a price increase a bit ago because everything has a price increase with technology these days, but still 220. That's way better than the $650 that we were at before. So this is what SlimeVR has been doing for the past few years. They made their trackers, they've been great. They do have their drawbacks I'll get to in a minute, but you know, it's been a few years since their regular big-sized trackers have come out, and you know, there's been a few years of innovations since then. This is where we can introduce the idea of a small tracker. Small slime trackers do all the same rotation and acceleration stuff of a regular slime tracker, except instead of connecting to your computer with ESP boards and the trackers over Wi-Fi, they use the NRF technology, which connects to a dongle you plug into your computer and is much smaller and much more power efficient than ESP. SlimeVR's official version of these small trackers is going to end up being called Butterfly. You can track progress on its development in the Discord. It's really close to being available for order, I think. As far as I'm aware, they're getting really close with that. But instead of buying one of those and waiting for one of those, because typically they are a bit more expensive than something you can find in the marketplace, I went with these Kawazu trackers that you can find in the SlimeVR Discord, and we finally made it to the end of the SlimeVR timeline for now. Just so we can get a comparison of the size of these trackers, this is my DIY trackers that I built based off the Meow Carrier case. This is a Kawazu tracker. This thing is significantly smaller in every aspect. Before I get into my actual review of these Kawazu trackers, I do want to talk about the drawbacks of SlimeVR because I've been hyping them up as this like perfect solution for cheap full body tracking that works perfectly. there are some shortcomings of it. The biggest drawback of SlimeVR Trackers is drift. Since they use IMUs, they do drift over time because IMUs need to be recalibrated every now and again. And especially for something like full body tracking where your body's moving all the time, that drift happens much more frequently. There have been improvements over the years with drift. They've found newer IMUs that take more time to drift compared to others, and there's also this feature in the server called Stay Aligned, which just kind of nudges your tracker back to where it thinks it should be, which is honestly really accurate and can get you a lot longer without having to reset your tracker. However, the SlimeVR server makes it very easy to reset, even if you do have to. It's literally just a single button in the server. You can set it up so you just tap your chest tracker to do it, and you can set it up so you just have a keybind on one of your controllers to just press that and it resets. Really easy. You just like stand straight, press the button, you're good. So personally, I don't find any problems with it, but for someone that doesn't want to deal with that, slimes probably aren't for you, and I'd recommend something like a 5 tracker. Now, into the specifics with these Kawazu trackers. I have pulled up the website here to help me get into the specifics with these trackers. As I said before, they're NRF based, so they're extremely energy efficient. They say it's about 35 plus hours just off a 120 milliamp hour battery, which is honestly extremely impressive. I'm pretty sure my big slimes use like a 1200 milliamp hour battery. They can barely last like 5 hours, which honestly, I haven't really tested it. I think it is longer than that, but still, this is extreme power efficiency with NRF. They are under 7 grams with a size of 25 millimeters by 24 millimeters by 9 millimeters, and they have a USB-C port right there you can see for charging. Can you tell I'm just reading off the website? Now time for the stuff I can actually comment on myself, because I know a strange amount about SlimeVR trackers. The IMU used inside of these is the LSM6DSV, which is like the second best IMU used in SlimeVR trackers. The official trackers use ICM 45686s. At this point, they used to use B&O, but the ICMs came along, they're better, they're honestly cheaper, I'm pretty sure. Despite them being second best, that does not make them terrible at all, because that means they have a drift time of about 50 to 60 minutes, which perfectly fine. And that's before you use Stay Aligned that I was talking about earlier, so you can get long times without needing to reset. These do also come with a magnetometer, which with SlimeVR, it's essentially just a drift correcting measure that, if in perfect conditions, you can get extremely long times without having to reset, like hours plus. The main drawback, though, is if you live anywhere where there's anything metallic or magnetic at all, it's gonna drift like crazy. So realistically, the mag isn't great for most people, but it is in these trackers. I did ask the person that makes these trackers, because it's one person that assembles all of these. She's great. I asked about the mags because I toggled them on in the server, but they wouldn't turn on. Apparently, it's not implemented in the firmware for these, so I can't talk about how well it works, at least for my environment, but just assume that it wouldn't work well. You can order these trackers in amounts as little as 1 and as high up to 10. I went for the 6 because that's like the best sweet spot. The minimum you need is 5 because you need chest, knees, and then ankles. But 6 gives you a hip tracker, which just stabilizes everything way better. Without the hip tracker, the server will try and make like a virtual hip, and it doesn't really work too well, so that's why 6 is the recommended amount for SlimeVR trackers. Along with the trackers in the box, you also get these straps that I'm using right here, as well as these strap clips, which make it extremely easy to take the straps off. I never got strap clips for my original DIY trackers, even though I'd heard of them, and I didn't really think they'd be that useful. When I say these clips changed my life, I am not joking. Like, you literally just, you put it over there, and you just click it in, and then it's good. Then you just click it out, and it's good again. Like, before, you would have to unstrap it each time, and it wouldn't be perfectly fit to your ankle or your hip or whatever to each time, and it was just, this is so much better with the clip. It also comes with this chest harness to use for your chest tracker, because it's been found by like 99% of SlimeVR users that using a chest harness just works way better than using anything like straps for your chest tracker. Going off the website here, it's literally $25 per tracker. Like, you increase to like the 2, because there's a separate one for like however many you want. 4, 5, 6, it just increases by $25 each time. And if you don't have a dongle, you need a dongle. That's also $25. There's a toggle if you do. If you already have one, you don't need it, so you can Click no, you don't need them. That put my 6 trackers at $175, which honestly, for how much you're getting the dongle, 6 trackers, all the straps, and the strap clips. And let me just check my drawer real quick. I also got this tiny little 3D printed cat with it. I think let's get that to focus. That's the wrong direction. Yeah, I got this 3D printed cat with it, which is really nice. I love that. This was a great deal. But you know, this has been enough me talking about the trackers. Let's actually get to using them. I'm gonna put them on. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to use them. I'm gonna get in VR chat because that's like one of the 2 games that I have that can use full body tracking, and the only other one is playing Feet Saber and Beat Saber. I don't really want to do that, so we're just gonna go with VR chat. Let me also open up the server. Literally today, SlimeVR released, or maybe it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday actually, but SlimeVR released their Steam version of their server, so you can just have it right in your Steam library and it'll open right up, and it's really great and more useful because it'll also auto update. Before you would have to download a separate installer for each update. That's annoying. This Steam release is great. I'm not going to go too in depth into the setup of getting these trackers connected to the dongle. There's a document in the Discord server for the person that makes these trackers, and it's really easy to follow. I did it in like 10 minutes before I had to go take my AP Physics C exam, so like it's really easy setup. Turning on the trackers was honestly a challenge when I first got these because I couldn't find the power button. It's really small there on the, can't even see it. It's really small, like right there. You can barely see it, but when you click it, lights up the tracker. It immediately detects in the server. It still has 58% battery because honestly, I haven't used these that much because I've been playing too much Neverness to Everness, but I had to make this video, so we're doing it now. Let me just turn on the rest of my trackers. I do typically use these 2 trackers with them as well, because when you don't have feet trackers with the angle trackers, you can't get foot rotations. But since I'm only reviewing the Kawazus today, I will only be using the 6 that I have. I accidentally just stopped recording, which is really just unfortunate, because now we have 2 clips to work with instead of 1. Okay. I know that 98% of the screen is black right now, but this is how it's going to have to be. Let's actually, let's get that nice synchronization going. Let's just, that did, yeah, the microphone got that. So this should, I actually don't have another audio, so I'll just line it up with like, you know, me actually clapping. But hopefully this will work. So I'm gonna put my trackers on right now. I'm too lazy to do the transition again, but I forgot that my microphone was on my sweatshirt, so you just heard none of what I said. Just to recap what I said, these trackers, way smaller than the massive bricks I was wearing before. Everywhere you see a tracker right now, plus that there's the knee trackers. They was just way heavier and bigger than these, and I love these way better. Okay, time to make the screen not be entirely, you know, black, for there to actually be trackers and like VR. Obviously, my headset had to have a, you know, connection issue to the computer, but you know, we got it figured out. I had to switch what USB port I was plugged into. Well, when I, you know, tried what I tried, the recording crashed, but you know, I should still have all that footage, so hopefully I do, but you know, now you can finally see my VR. Everything will actually work. I'm gonna open VR chat, and we're gonna do this properly. My headset is also attacking my eardrums, so that should be known. I decided to not display VR chat and to instead just display my whole VR view so you could see like everything that I do. This is typically what my VR looks like, so I'm gonna get this ready. I didn't even realize my SlimeVR server also crashed, and my recording is looking terrible with my camera. I might have to ditch the camera from the recording. In light of my addiction to Neverness to Everness recently, I've found a world that has Neverness to Everness avatars, and we will be using the Esper avatar. SlimeVR, you usually set a few settings. You set wherever it is for tracking IK. Make sure your height's right. You do measurement. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to do it by arm span? No, maybe you do it by height. Wait, I don't even remember. SlimeVR, very easy to get set up. Let's full screen that. It's not actually. Oh, wait, no, it's fine. Okay. It gives you this nice little checklist to the right. Very easy to set up. You just line your feet up on the ground, hit the menu, you full reset, you just look straight and idle pose. Then you do your mountain calibration, where you get into that pose there. And then you're pretty much ready. From in VR chat, go to your menu, click calibrate, make sure you're in the normal pose. I like to full reset just after. If it wants to, no, I can't full reset. Okay, I don't even want a full reset. Oh, all right. Oh, this is way better. Okay, full reset. Line yourself up, plug it in, and there you go. Full body tracking, working perfectly fine. I can, move my hip, my chest rotates independently, I think, if you could see that. It works perfectly fine. Unlike Vive trackers, I could like throw in a blanket if I wanted to. I can cover the trackers all I want, and they'll still work perfectly fine because they don't need any exterior stuff to track. So I can, let's see, if I had my camera, this would be way funnier, but do something like, oh, I can't do a handstand, but if I could, it would work. It would work flawlessly. Yeah, tracking quality is great. Drift is great. Oh, whoa, what just? I don't know, but yeah, I believe it works perfectly fine, perfectly adequate. You might notice my leg is like my left leg. I'm just bad at doing the mountain calibration in SlimeVR. I've gotten used to that at this point, so I've given up on trying to do that. Also, if I wasn't like in a rush for the video, I'd be fine. um, Not much left to show off. I could stand here and wait for it to drift, but I have stay aligned set up, so we might be here for a very long time. Especially when you're just standing still, they practically don't drift at all. It's when you start to do like crazy movements, if you do dancing at all, then they'll start to drift, but other than that, works flawlessly. I'm gonna plug my phone back into my computer. We're gonna switch back to that because there's honestly not much left for me to show you. Like, this is what the server looks like, as you just saw. You can see all your individual trackers. You can actually see the rotations. Like, here's the left ankle. If I go to preview, I'm actually moving the wrong foot. You can actually see over there. That's the data that it gets, and that's how it tracks. But yeah, as you can see, it's working pretty great. I think the connection to my computer isn't great. If I rotate this way, it might do better. But not much left to say about it. Pretty great quality, pretty great price. You heard me talking about it. Let's get back to the computer and wrap it all up. The quality of everything with the camera just got worse and worse as it kept going. You should have seen what it just looked like. It was not good, but oh, my mic's on low battery. So let's wrap this up quick. I'm finishing off the video wearing the trackers because I'm too lazy to take them off until I start editing. But yeah, for what these trackers are, really great price, really great quality. They're SlimeVR trackers. They're pretty much all whatever variety you get, whether you DIY them, get the official ones, or get some from the marketplace like I just did. They're all going to track about the same. It's about what you want from your trackers that makes it nice. If you don't have a 3D printer, I honestly wouldn't recommend DIYing them like I did, because I had to ship out 3D printed cases twice for when I built my original set and then got these black ones. I'd much rather just recommend you. Well, what did I just say? Much more recommend you support someone from the marketplace. All great people. I'll have the Discord server for these specific trackers linked in the description. I've been glazing them a lot, but I'll also have the official SlimeVR Discord link so you can look through the marketplace yourself and see if there's others that you like just a bit more from there. You also ask for help from a ton of people there. Everyone's really nice in that server, so that's what I've got to say about these. Go follow me on TikTok. Have a good day. I'm going to edit for probably hours. It's going to be a bad time.